Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Just to bring everyone in today, good morning. Welcome to the Licensing Committee. A warm welcome to those attending and also to our viewers watching live on the Council's YouTube channel, Hillingdon, London. My name is Councillor Becky Hagger and I am Chair of the Licensing Committee. Details of the business to be considered today are shown on the agenda copies, of which are available in the room, and everyone should have one. The agenda is also accessible for those online under the live broadcast. For those present in the room and intending to speak, please note that you will be filmed and any statements you make will be recorded and made public. And a reminder to anyone speaking today that your voice will only be audible online if the microphone is switched on, and that's indicated by the red button. Fire alarm. We're not expecting a fire drill, so if the fire alarm does go off, please follow officers to the fire exits and out of the building to the designated meeting points. Mobile and tablet devices. For all of us in the room, can we please switch off any mobile devices before the meeting starts or put them on silent? Residents' feedback forms. If you are minded, it would be helpful if you could please complete one of the yellow residents' feedback forms. The information on these forms is intended to help us to improve the way that we run our meetings. And if you are watching on YouTube, you can also complete the form online. And there is a link below the broadcast. So before we start, let's introduce ourselves and the members of the committee and the council officers. We'll go across to my right. I am Councillor Becky Hagger, as I said, and I'm chair of this meeting.
Good morning. My name is Mrs. Chantal McLeod. I'm the legal officer for today's meeting.
Hi, I'm Councillor Kelly Martin.
Morning, Councillor Rita Chamdow.
Good morning, Shahriar Ahmed Walana, Councillor for Colum and Cowley.
Councillor Peter Smallwood. Mike Crane, Uxbridge Bid.
Kira Gibson, Uxbridge Bid.
Lois King, Principal Licensing Officer from the Council.
Daniel Ferrer, Licensing Team Manager. Thank you.
Councillor Nelson West.
Councillor Kuldeep Lakmana.
Councillor Janet Gardner.
Lovely, thank you, and a very warm welcome to Uxbridge Bid. Good to see you this morning. So first we have apologies of absence. Do we have apologies? Lovely. And do we have any declarations of interest coming before us in this meeting? No? Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. So the first thing is to agree the minutes of the Licensing Committee. It was a little while ago. It was the 31st of January 2024, so you can cast your mind back to them. They are on pages 1 to 5. So if you'd like to have a look through those, and do we agree the minutes? Agreed. Thank you very much. So the minutes are agreed. We also have to agree the minutes of the meeting on the 9th of May, and that's agenda item 4, and that's page 1. And is that agreed? Thank you. Thank you. So those minutes are agreed. And just to confirm that we have two parts today, the part marked in 1 will be considered public, and the items of business marked in part 2 will be private. So, we're on to part 1, and agenda 6 is the presentation from Uxbridge Bid. Thank you so much for coming in today. It's great to see you both, and we're looking forward to your presentation on applying for licences. Thank you.
Chair, council members, council officers, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting us to speak this morning. So we're just going to give you a quick overview of the work of Uxbridge Bid, what we are and what we're about. So we're a business improvement district. We're business-led, we're business-driven, but we're community-minded. We like to think that we're unique, and we are certainly unique to Uxbridge, but we are not alone. in March 2024, there are 341 bids dotted up and down the country. Those bids represent over 135,000 businesses, and they invest back into their local regions, cities and towns, over £154 million worth of income. So it's a significant amount of money that's generated by bids, which is reinvested back into those local towns, cities. The first bid was established in Kingston in 2005, and they called themselves Kingston First. Bids are on a 5-year cycle, so I think Kingston is now onto its 5th cycle. So why Uxbridge? So back in about 2015-16, things just seemed to be moving in the right direction. There was active support for bids. The local authority was keen for Uxbridge to become a bid, and the 2 shopping centres were very keen that there should be a bid within the town centre. We went out to consultation for about 18 months, consulting with all businesses within the town centre who might be affected by the establishment of a bid. So after that 18-month consultation, we went to ballot in 2017, and after 28 days of voting, businesses voted 98% in favour of Uxbridge becoming a bid. The sole intention of the bid then was to make Uxbridge a better place to live, work and socialise. But as I mentioned, they're on a 5-year cycle, so back in 2022, it started all over again. You effectively scrap your business plan, you go back out to the businesses, you consult again, and you say to them, do you still want Uxbridge to be a bid? I'm pleased to say, and we wouldn't be here if they didn't, but I'm pleased to say that when we went back to ballot in 2022, 97% voted in favour of us being returned as a bid for another 5 years. And within that, we have 3 main themes: a safer Uxbridge, a happier, more vibrant Uxbridge, and a greener Uxbridge. So I just wanted to talk very briefly about how this all happens. So bids can set certain rules, and our rules are that any business within the town centre that has a rateable value of more than 15,000 has to pay in, and they are charged a levy of 1.5% of their rateable value. No individual business should pay more than 15,000. So obviously, as you know, we have a number of large corporate office sector within the footprint of the bid, and I should tell you what the footprint is. So essentially, it's from St Andrews down to the Swan and Bottle. It's Sainsbury's down to Marjack's. So everything that we do, all of the money that we invest, has to go to benefit that specific geographic area. So just talking very briefly about the income. Over the last 2 years, we have generated over £985,000 worth of income, and we have spent that and allocated that back into those 3 broad projects. A safer Uxbridge, £400,000 there, greener Uxbridge, £76,000, and a happier, more vibrant, £180,000. It's all about driving footfall and improving the life of people that live and work within the town centre. So I'm going to talk very briefly about one of the themes. So a safer Uxbridge. So as I said, when we went to ballot in 2022, something that the businesses were asking for is additional security within the town centre. So we have a team of security ambassadors that work 7 days a week, 10 till 6 Monday to Saturday, and 11 till 5 on Sunday. We have a nighttime team that work to support our nighttime economy on a Friday into Saturday and Saturday into Sunday. They work 10 o'clock in the evening till 3 o'clock in the morning. We're also very proud to support the local authority in terms of the CCTV control room, and we make a contribution of 1 FTE into that provision because we see the benefit to us as a town centre, our businesses, both daytime and night. So I'm just going to give you some quick stats in terms of the work that those ambassadors do. I won't read that out because I can understand that you can all see that, but I think something that's quite significant for us, £26,500 there. That is recovered goods within the last year. So our ambassadors have recovered those goods and returned them predominantly to our retailers. So when we have conversations with some of our multinationals, Boots, Poundland, Primark, M&S, with regards to what does the bid actually do for our business, we're able to say we have returned that amount of goods that have been stolen from your premises and we've returned them to you. So that's a real return on investment from our point of view. Another important stat over there towards the right, 53,378. That's the amount of calls that our ambassadors have received over that year period. So the town centre certainly keeps them busy. So I'm now going to move on to the other 2 themes and hand over to Kira.
Thank you, Mike. I have the fun job. I get to do the marketing and events, and those of you that have seen the events know the madness that ensues, and it's absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to just cover a few past events. Okay, go ahead. We've had a lot. Over the past 5 years, we've had 6 weeks of the Love Summer Festival, which was post-COVID, and that was literally 6 weeks solid of markets and performers and live music and bands, and just the whole town centre and community came back to life. And it was just so much fun. We absolutely loved it. We had giant octopuses, we had dinosaurs eating our flowers, you name it, we've had it. We have had Pirate Fest, at which point I bought a giant pirate ship in the town centre, and it was just great fun. People love it, the kids love it, and the community loves it. We've also had the Queen's Jubilee, which we did for 3 days, and we had 1940s, 1950s pop-ups everywhere, all the traditional ones, hooker ducks, Queen's Guards walking around, live music, we gave away cupcakes. It was great fun. Valentine's Day, Easter, Dino Day, because who doesn't love dinosaurs? You can see one of our little dinosaurs having a nap on one of our Uxbridge bid chairs there. And also, when we had a giant whale in for National Recycling Week, and the whale was, I think, it wound up, well, the whale size changed depending on who asked me, but I think it wound up being about 18 metres, and I think I told Mike it was 8 metres. So it was a bit of a surprise on the day. We've also had tea dance for elderly, which we organised in partnership with yourselves, and we had a great day and we loved it. And we've had World Book Day. We gave away 200 free books within the community, and we hid them round, and the corporate office sector came in and found them. International Women's Day, where we had guest speakers from Coca-Cola, Gift Gaff, and we gave massages and nails had done, and Prosecco and food, and it was just a lovely networking event for all the women of Uxbridge. We've also had, one of our best ones was Pride. Just the whole town was covered in just rainbows, and it was absolutely fantastic. And we did events at Miller's Tap in the evening, and also our corporate wellness days, which we've done. We worked with the likes of Coca-Cola, again, Gift Gaff, Brita, Hertz, to just give everybody the opportunity to come in. We did yoga, we did sound baths, we just really tried to tap into that sort of HR, CSR work. And we also did the Santa Dash, and we had 200 people, families dressed. My best one was the baby was even dressed as Father Christmas, and it was fantastic. We all ran around Fasnage Park, and we raised money for very good causes, and we just absolutely loved it. We worked with our retailers as well. We did the launch for Percy Pig when Marks and Spencer's had a rebrand, and managed to build a farm in 2 days, which was quite impressive. Yeah, I'm a bit of a liability with the drill, but I am getting better. And we've also have, as a bid, we tend to keep on key themes. So we tend to do something in the summer, something for Halloween, and something for Christmas. This is very much our busiest time of year, and we just absolutely love it. Halloween past and present, we've had Undead Uxbridge, we've had fire breathers in the town centre, we've had giant bats, witches, ghosts, we've had a Day of the Dead parade, we've had the zombie apocalypse of Uxbridge. We've had it all, and it's always been great fun, including having a giant screen in Fasnage Park and having movies in the park, which we'd love to do again next year, because every time I walk through the high street, at least one person says to me on a daily basis, when is the giant screen coming back? And people absolutely loved it, and it's lovely to utilise our green spaces as well and encourage people to do something different within our community. This year we've got Monster Mash in the pumpkin patch, so I'm building a pumpkin patch in the middle of the town centre, and it will be great, and it will be Saturday the 26th of October, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m, pumpkins to carve, roaming monsters, live music, spooky maze and more, so come if you dare. And we'll also have the lovely students from Brunel joining us. We tend to wind up with about 40 students who come participate, and we just, yeah, they're fantastic. They love to carve the pumpkins, they're great with the kids, and they have a great day, and we have a great day. We've got Wrap Up Uxbridge will be our next event after Halloween. We did this in 2019, and the response was phenomenal, and then obviously we had the trickiness that was COVID, and everything kind of went a little bit haywire. But we're bringing it back this year because, quite frankly, I think we see the need more than anything this year. The world is in a very interesting place, and I think people need help now more than ever. Last time we collected, I think it was 1,217 items of clothing, and that was coats, scarves, hats, gloves, socks. This year we will be collecting for men, women and children. Last time we didn't do children, but we've seen a huge amount of needs. Mike mentioned, our big focus is security, so we work with the boys. We're constantly running up and down the high street, working with the boys, helping the boys, assisting in any way we can. And when we do that, we deal with a lot of very vulnerable people, and I see particularly kids, families, particularly mums, doing their best but it's hard, and so we just want to really incorporate the element of kids in that. And kids' clothes are very expensive, so anybody that can donate, we'd love to have some clothes. We'll be on Tuesday the 12th and Wednesday the 13th of November. We'll be in front of the train station, and yes, they'll all be going to very good cause, and we're going to do this in partnership with St Margaret's Church, as they have a lot of, members of the congregation who both need it and also know where it will go, so which is great, and we'll also work with the Salvation Army and obviously Trinity Homeless. Nutcracker Trail. This has just made my year because we won it. It was £8,000 worth of a Nutcracker Trail and we won it for free, and I was so happy. I'm an excitable person, so it doesn't take a lot, but this will be in situ for 6 weeks, and you get a trail booklet. So they're up and down the town centre. So we've got one hidden at my dentist Miller's Tap, one in the Trams Piazza, one in Windows Marks and Spencer's, one in front of Morello Lounge. I won't spoil it for you because you're never too old to do a Nutcracker Trail, I'm just saying. So it'd be lovely to see you all going around with the map. You don't need children to go around. And that would be great. So we get 5,000 booklets, half of which are going to local schools. So really encouraging those local schools to come in to the town centre with their families. And we're also going to be doing a prize this year for the mums and dads because, mums and dads are bringing everybody in. So we're going to do a lovely hamper for mum and a lovely hamper for dad, or carers, guardians, whoever's bringing them in. Everybody gets a prize this year. And it will be great. It's in situ for 6 weeks. And everybody's naming a nutcracker. So the police team have named one, the chimes have named one, the shops have named one. It's really lovely that everybody's kind of gotten so involved. And then my favourite, Christmas. Christmas has grown exponentially over the last 5 years. I must say it's gotten bigger and better every year, and every year I try and outdo it. And Michael see the twitch starting to grow from about January when I start planning Christmas again. And last year, over the course of the day, we had 40,000 people, and it is very busy. We work closely with everybody from counter-terrorism to the police, to London Ambulance Service, London Fire Brigade. I can't even say how much planning goes into this. It is a huge, huge project, and we absolutely love it. And I know many attendees here have joined us for the Christmas light switch on over the years. And as I said, every year it gets bigger and better. We have a fireworks display that goes off the roof of the chimes that lasts 9 minutes. That is fantastic. We have a live DJ. We have Christmas market in situ for 6 weeks, which is fantastic because we work very closely with the market team. It gives us something to work around as well. You've got these lovely little chalets, makes it festive. We've got a Christmas market stage. There's always live music. They have everything that lights up. It's just a wonderful atmosphere. And it's just so wonderful to see the community come together. And, Christmas is a wonderful time of year. And, we just absolutely, it's fantastic. We also did a Christmas advert 3 years ago. And I think it's currently on 120,000 views over various platforms. I might be biased, but I think it's better than anything John Lewis have ever done. I'm going down swinging on that one. I definitely think it's better than John Lewis. It is fantastic. You can look it up. It's well worth a look. And it just showcased members of our community and our businesses. And they're all very good sports with me saying, no, go there for 2 days. And they were absolutely fantastic. So as I said, Christmas is always great fun and will continue to be, and we absolutely love it. Switch on this year is going to be Saturday the 23rd of November, and we will have... Oh, has it worked? Oh, no. Getting ahead of myself. And this year we've got the Grinch, we've got Cindy Lou Who, we've got Buddy the Elf, we've got giant light-up penguins, we've got giant LED angels on stilts, we've got... giant nutcrackers on stilts who will be giving out trail maps, giant snow globes with a snow machine, the whole town's covered in snow, you name it, we've got it. It really is a great fun day. And over the 6 weeks of Christmas, we've also got elf hat making, Christmas card making, the snow globe comes back, live music every Saturday, really just trying to increase the footfall into the town centre, which will hopefully increase the dwell time and then the spend. And we really push people to say, come, stay, eat in the market, book a table at your favourite restaurant, go to the cinema, see all the wonderful things that we have to offer, because we do have a lot of wonderful things. In addition to Christmas chaos, we also contribute annually to the LBH Christmas Lights Fund, and to the Mayor's Charity Fund, buying all the presents for the shoeboxes for the council switch on. We love it. Mike and I go crazy in Boots. It's fantastic because Boots goes in to say we just have such fun buying all of the gifts, and we keep offering to wrap them because we like to wrap as well. I will stop talking about Christmas because as Lois knows from Pub Watch, I can talk about Christmas for hours and hours, so I will stop. Green at Uxbridge is our last theme. As Mike said, we have 3 themes: security, and policing, a happier, more vibrant, and a green at Uxbridge. We have done on the walls and shop windows a lot of murals, and it just brightens up the town centre. We absolutely love it. Our Love Uxbridge artist is fantastic, and it just spreads the word a little bit about Love Uxbridge and Uxbridge Bid in the community. As you can see, I think we've had about 40 windows and murals done to date. Obviously, the shops do take them off, and they get cleaned. But this spring summer, we're hoping to have about 50 push in and really make the town just covered in window art, and just make it a little bit of a window art destination and murals. And if I can get access to more buildings, they will be painted. Sports Direct kindly let us paint the back and then panicked, I think, slightly, but it was absolutely beautiful and it looks fantastic. So I'm sure you've seen the mural at the back of the bus station. If you haven't, go have a wander. We will be updating it as well and giving it a little rejig. And another part is also all of our planters. So we've got 36 planters on the roof of the station, the floral foam boxes, which have been in situ for about 4 years and are still so popular. People have their wedding photos in front of it. It's absolutely gorgeous to see. It's fantastic. People love them. And we obviously provide all of the hanging baskets as well within the town centre as part of our Greener initiative, and our floral bench, which is currently in. A big part of what we do now is our community clean-up days. We find it's a fantastic way to work with our corporate office sector. And we had one about 10 days ago, and we had CNOC, Oil and Gas, Coca-Cola, Gift Gas Brita, Ari Lighting. We've had members of the council, Chimes Shopping Centre, Small Independents, Hasbro, Hillingdon Hospital, you name it. People have come in and joined our community clean-up days. It's a lovely thing to do. For them, it's great. It's a great CSR, but it's fantastic to do in the town centre. I think so far we've collected 230 bags of rubbish. We've filled 5 skips. A lot of this is illegal fly tipping. I know Councillor Garda is very active in her litter picking around the area, and we try and do our best in Uxbridge. I would like to say that our street cleaners are amazing. Adrian and Ian are fantastic, and our last community clean-up day, we did struggle to find litter. So we wound up halfway in the canal because we were really struggling. But it's a wonderful way to get the corporates out and into the town centre and shopping and, kind of seeing what we have to offer as well, and just having pride in where we are and where we work and where we live, and just everybody coming together, which is fantastic. And that's it from me, but anything, please feel free to contact Mike and I, and we'd love to chat. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much. If you should turn off your mic, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm sure I speak for all of us here. It's an absolute joy to hear you both, because you're you just bring so much light into it all. And I think we've all noticed a massive change in Uxbridge since we've had Uxbridge Bid. You've done an incredible job, and I speak for all of us to say, congratulations, and keeping Uxbridge a safer place, a greener space, and a place where people want to come and be part of the community. I think you've done an incredible job. So congratulations, guys. And I love the Lego. I'm just personally, you had a Lego thing the other day, and it was just incredible. But I know a lot of hard work goes into it, and we really appreciate it. It's really interesting to hear your presentation today. Really is, to see what goes on behind the scenes. Okay, so we're going to have a few questions, if that's okay with you. And I think the first one was Sharia. So, Councillor Sharia Hamad-Bolala.
Thank you, Chairman. Well done for a brilliant presentation. I can see the happiness, and you're so passionate. And I had an experience as a deputy mayor and mayor switching on the Christmas lights, and the thousands of people were just so happy with kids and families. Yes, that's just brilliant. As we can see, other than the Christmas lights, there are so many activities taking place in the town centre. And my question is how, I know they're always well attended, but how do you publish them so reaching out to the wider community, as we are very diverse in Hillingdon? Thank you.
So I think that was part of and I missed that out. We're very lucky that we have at Love Uxbridge, which is our sort of consumer-facing platform, and that has a very wide reach. We get great engagement on all of our social channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat and TikTok and LinkedIn. Particularly our Instagram gets exceptional engagement, and we have quite a substantial following. For the likes of Christmas, we do a leaflet drop to 20,108 households. So that goes to UB8 123 and UB10 1. So it goes out within sort of the broader community to just again promote Switch On and Uxbridge as a whole for the 6 weeks, because that is our biggest event of the year, is Christmas. And everything else, we have posters that we put up in the windows. We have an e-newsletter. Everything goes on our website. Marketing, unfortunately, is very expensive, so we try and utilise everything that we have available to us that is more economical, so the social channels are ideal. And we're very lucky that we're part of all of the community groups on sort of Facebook and stuff like that, and word of mouth. For us, a big one is, again, they are family-focused events. We tend to have a lot of the mum groups pick it up and share it, and they then put it into the schools, and it then goes out to the PTA and then to the newsletters. So, yeah, we're very fortunate that slowly but surely word of mouth spreads, but as I said, it could always be improved upon, and we could always spread the word far and wide. We did have a friend of mine was working in Beaconsfield the other week, and the gentleman who she was working with, she's in film, promptly told her, where do you live? And she said, oh, Uxbridge. And he went, you need to go to their Christmas light switch on, and talk to her for half an hour about how amazing the switch on was. And this gentleman lives in Beaconsfield, and eventually after half an hour she said, my friend does that. And, it was just lovely to see that he then told everybody else in the room about it. So I think we're lucky that word of mouth spreads as well after the last, we've done 5 years of events, and we've thankfully quite established now, and it does spread. But yes, if anybody has any options of spreading the word further, I'm always happy to hear.
Thank you. You're doing a remarkable job, and thank you for supporting the male charity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Shandell. Or were you first, actually, Councillor Gardner? I do apologise. Councillor Gardner.
Excuse me. First of all, thank you for your enthusiasm. I think you're a bit crackers, but there you go. One of my biggest concerns over Christmas is, apart from being obsessed with picking up litter, I'm also the advocate for domestic violence, and domestic violence goes through the roof at Christmas. So while a lot of people are celebrating, I'm sitting at home at the end of my phone, or I might have to go to the police station, etc., etc. Can you make a big thing about that so people know who to get in contact, what is and isn't appropriate? And also, I don't want to burst your bubble, basically, but domestic abuse covers a massive range of things now, and I think more people need to know about it, and it's quite useful because it's for school children as well. So I think your enthusiasm is fantastic. I admire what you're doing, but if you could just do that, which would make maybe life a little bit easier for a few people. Thank you.
No, 100%. And if there are any graphics or anything that I can put out on the social channels, 100%. It's something my family has dealt with, and over the years, and I'm more than happy to push anything else. We work closely with St Margaret's Church and anything like that, and obviously we're very lucky that we have PC Rice, who links into everything, and Lizanne does share a lot with us, and we then put it out to the wider community. It's something we work a lot with our hairdressers and beauticians, looking for the signs, because we know that's a safe space for women to confide in, and also it's a part, I'm focusing on women for this particular one. I appreciate that domestic violence affects all, but that is a safe space, and we work very closely with our beauty salons and our hairdressers to kind of just look out for the signs. So if there's any literature, I will happily put it across all of our channels and say, please just be aware and look out for the signs, and more than happy.
Thank you, Councillor Gardner. Thank you. Councillor Shandell.
Thank you, Chair. This is more of an observation. Having worked with several bids in different boroughs, Kira, your passion is phenomenal. It really is, in comparison to what I deal with other bid partners. So I just really want to say, and I think I echo what the Chair said, we're very fortunate to have you, and thank you very much for what you do. Really, really well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other questions, Councillor Lakmana?
Thank you, Chair. Firstly, I just want to echo what my colleagues have said. Thank you for your enthusiasm with this project. The question that I'd like to ask, you mentioned about the Rep Up Uxbridge and donations. Where do those donations need to be dropped off at?
So we'll be based in front of the train station on that Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll just have a couple of coat rails up, some tables, some chairs will be there, and we'll be there from 11 till 2. So just feel free to pop by between those times, or if you can't make it, drop us an email, and we can come and get them from the Civic Centre. We're only literally around the corner, our office. So yeah, we'll be there, and that's where everybody can come and drop off the stuff. As I said, we were very successful when we did it previously, so we're hoping that it will be as successful this year. But yeah, please feel free to drop it off during any of that time frame, and if you can't make it, we'll come and collect it. Brunel are doing their own collection, aren't they? And Mike and I will just take both cars up and we'll drive and we'll collect from Brunel. So we'll be doing many a drive around, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Smallwood.
Thank you, Chair. I hate repetition, but to appear not rude or as if I don't think you're enthusiastic, thank you very much for your enthusiasm. As this is a licensing committee, I thought maybe I should ask something related to licensing. How is the interface with the council in terms of being able to get street trading licences and the various things that you're going to have to go through to do it, not just because they're sat next to you, if they're not, be nice, but how is the interface, how does it go, how do you find working with them, do you get things on time, etc., etc.?
So I've had the pleasure of working in the town centre for the last 12 years, and I say we've only been a bid for 7 or 8 of those years. So I think the partnership that we have with the local authority, particularly with licensing, is very strong. And I say that's not just because Dan and Lois are sitting next to us. Very positive, very supportive. It's always a challenge for us to get our heads around what we need to. But yeah, the information that we get is good. It's on time, I think it's a positive relationship.
I mean, I'm not always on time with my applications, as Lois will attest to, but they're Lois and Ross are absolutely amazing at making sure it goes through. Ross is fantastic and saves my bacon at least once a week, and is brilliant and has been, particularly with this particular Christmas, as we're having to do so much CT stuff, and it's just fantastic. And anything, I drop Lois an email and I get back within 5 minutes. I get a response and it's sorted. So yeah, we're very fortunate that we all work well together.
Thank you. Any further questions? Yes, Councillor McMahon.
Thank you. You mentioned the marketing. I'm sure that Hillingdon People is used for that as well. If somebody can confirm that for their events.
I think that's a really good point, and I'm sure it is, but I think we need to confirm that. So can we sort of take that as a point forward?
Thank you.
Any further questions? No? I have a few myself, actually. I just wanted to ask, what has been one of the biggest challenges you've had, whether that be around licensing, whether that be around, the pubs, or even just street trading? What have you found that might be difficult? As people put stuff out that they shouldn't have done, or, that's health and safety, really?
I think one of the things that we find difficult as a bid as Love Uxbridge, because we know that there are licensing regulations and processes that have to go through, I think we then find it frustrating when other organisations come in that we know have blatantly not gone through those processes, because we know how challenging it is and the paperwork that's required, and we understand that. So when we see pop-ups in the town centre, you think, I know full well that you haven't gone through the correct process because you're in the wrong place, because I know that's not one of the allocated spots or whatever. So it is that challenge, and I'm often phoning through to enforcement saying, you need to get some officers down here because we have a PSPO in place for a reason, and that is clearly not being robustly seen through. So I think that's one of the challenges that we find.
Mike is adamant he will always find the people, and he's like, he will walk through and I'll walk with him and I'll be like, I've lost him again, and he's like, they're not licensed, and finds them. And I think that's probably the biggest one. Or for like Christmas, illegal trading or stuff, people coming with the glow sticks or whatever, and poor Ben the balloon man goes spare, and we try and do our best and work with the civil enforcement officers, and obviously our Uxbridge bid, security ambassadors are fantastic, and the boys are wonderful at, working with people and sort of moving people on if required.
So we can take that on board, actually. I think that's really important what you said. So basically, just to sum it up, you're saying that actually, it is difficult when someone is illegally trading to get in touch with officers and get the enforcement down in time and quick enough. And I think that's definitely one thing we can take back and see how we can work with that. One of the other questions I had was around disability access, wheelchair access. How do you think we are, for that? Is it easy as you're going along? If you've got a wheelchair and you're walking through pavements, have we got anything that we've put together, for disability for Uxbridge?
We do work in partnership with Hillingdon Shop Mobility, and I've been part of Shop Mobility for a number of years. So certainly accessibility within the town centre I don't think is an issue, and we try certainly as a bid to have our events on flat space within the public realm. But it's something that I can certainly take back to Shop Mobility and see whether there are issues or concerns.
Thank you, that's really, really good. And just to follow up actually on what Councillor Gardner said, if you don't mind, Councillor Gardner, but we have the safe space, so I presume we have areas in Uxbridge, the shops that are the safe space shops. It might be good to know about them as well, actually. I don't know about them, but it might just be me. No, okay. So it might be good to know where they are, which of the shops are the safe space that people can go to. I know that they would have had a little logo or something on it, isn't it? I can't quite remember myself what it is, but that would be good. And the only final one, actually, I know we're doing like flowers, which is amazing, isn't it? I've walked past and it's just incredible. Would we do things like herbs or anything like that for people to take? I've seen in some areas, they've got like little, not a massive vegetable patch, but little areas that are around.
I think it's as anything, people are people, and if it is easy access, we did see two gentlemen walking along with two of our lavender bushes the other week from the planters. I'm sure they had good reason, and I'm sure they went to a good home. However, anything that's ground level, shall we say, or little hands level, is going to go walkabouts. So I think if it was more of a protected area, then I think it would do really well. But yeah, if it was up to us, the entire town would be covered in flowers. Like literally, Mike and I would be covered in flowers. Like we think the more greener the better. But yeah, I think it's very much a case of just the practicalities of it are sometimes harder to do. Just because, as I said, people are people. The floral phone boxes are the strangest things we've ever found, and there was about half-eaten burger, and I think that was perhaps just somebody had had a good night, so, we can't judge that one, but, everything else is too high out of reach. But yes, the planters attached to the floral bench at the moment, they're getting a rejig for autumn, and we'll currently have pumpkins sitting in for the Halloween event. They will be going afterwards, don't worry. And, will then be Christmasified as well, but it's just, in terms of that, but it would be lovely to do and lovely to have. Maybe there was an area of fastenage that we could just sort of cordon off. I'm sure the officers would love to do it, actually have a little growing area and sort of work in partnership with them, maybe in partnership with them and the Fastenage Trust or something could work quite well.
You do an absolutely amazing job, and thank you for eloquently answering all the questions. It's so positive, and it's such a great place to be, and definitely it is love Uxbridge. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for sharing, and we'll take those points forward as well and see how we can, improve on our service. Is really good. So you're welcome to stay if you want to for the next bit, but you're also welcome to go as well. I just want to make sure no one has any further questions that have come up. No? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Not a problem at all. Okay, we now move on to agenda item 7, which is legislation and industry update, please.
Hi, good morning, Chairman. I wasn't proposing to sort of go through every sort of legal update. I was happy to sort of like take any sort of like questions. And I'm seeing the nods and reading the room. So if there's any particular questions, I mean, I am going on to the gambling policy afterwards. There's interesting cases in there. I'm happy to sort of like discuss those if you wish. But I think sort of the main thing was the gambling policy for us. Thank you.
Absolutely, Daniel, and thank you. But does anyone have any questions on that? Or are we all confident and happy? Yeah, okay, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. So we move on to the Statement of Gambling Policy consultation. Thank you, Daniel, for bringing that forward. It was a big, hefty document, and I know you said you will help us with answering the questions and explaining it all through and what's changed.
Yeah, I was just sort of like saying to Lois, I'm a bit in trouble actually now after the passion and enthusiasm showed by Uxbridge bid, and so I have the topic of gambling policy, and I'm here in front of you essentially to explain the updates and the revisions that we have for the review of the policy. I'll try not to be too long, but I think it's quite important that we go through some of the changes and have discussion and debate over that. Just by way of brief background, the Gambling Act 2005 sets out how gambling is regulated in the UK. It came into force in September 2007 and covers gambling in physical premises such as arcades, betting shops, bingo premises, casinos, gaming machines, small society lotteries. And also, the Gambling Act also covers online digital gambling as well, which is primarily covered by the Gambling Commission. The licensing authority is required to review their statement of licensing policy every 3 years. So in 2022, we formally reviewed it then, and so in early 2025 is when it's due to be implemented. And so if the policy is not reviewed or consulted on, then the Council would not meet its requirements under the Gambling Act, and any decisions made on that could face challenge. In terms of timetable and context where we are, on the top of page 16 here, you'll see where we are in the process, and so some of the committee members would have been on the scrutiny meeting for the Residential Services Select Committee on the 24th of September, and so I'll try not to repeat some of the comments or the discussions there, because I know they loved it so much. You will see that our Cabinet member, Councillor Lavery, put it in front of Cabinet on the 12th of September 2024, and the following day our team started the formal consultation, a 6 weeks consultation. And so we consulted with yourself as all the ward members, residents associations, the trade organisations as well, and our neighbouring boroughs as well. And so the consultation closes on the 25th of this month. And so it's still open, and so if there's anyone listening out there on YouTube, www.hillingdon.gov.uk/gambling policy to put in any reviews, objections, comments in relation to the policy. So what are those changes? You'll see on the following page, the annex page is 24 to 25. You will see Appendix A, overview of proposed policy changes. Again, I don't intend to go through every single bullet point. What I would say is that there's been no real change in terms of the primary legislation, in terms of the Gambling Act. There have been changes in relation to the codes of practice and the guidance, and that's where mainly our amendments, revisions come from, and any gaps that we've seen with the current policy. In terms of the full policy, that hefty document as referred to, if you're looking at it electronically, it's blue and red, the amendments. If you're looking at the hard copy that I've got in front of me, it's in bold, black and highlighted, and any deletions are on strike through. And what I would say is that there's been no changes in relation to the core areas. That's the process, so that hasn't changed. There's been no changes in terms of the decision making made by committee and subcommittees, and there's been no changes to the statutory fees as well. And so the main changes that we've put in are, if you like, a refreshing of the policy in terms of minor amendments such as sentence structure, terminology, also updating the responsible authorities' contacts as well. And we have added, we made the effort of looking at it closely, but adding 5 new areas, and I'll run through them: representations, direct marketing, duty to protect, Martin's Law, Think 25, and appeals. I'll spend a bit of time on why we've put those in. In terms of representations, we found out that we should put like more clarity in terms of what is a valid representation, because we've noticed the challenges for residents, if you like, if they put objections, how are they going to hit the mark in terms of what is a valid representation? Because it's clear when we look at these objections that objectives are not mentioned and real evidence is not mentioned, and so there's debate with officers of whether to include them or not, and that makes a big difference whether we go to full committee or not. In terms of direct marketing, that comes from the guidance, and so what we have now is the government saying that operators should have opt-in direct marketing for customers rather than the default of opt-out, and that helps, particularly when we're talking about vulnerable people looking at gambling. Duty to protect and Martin's Law, as Kira mentioned, CT, counter-terrorism, is a massive, massive topic now. And with the bill, Martin's Law bill, working its way through government, like other structures we have in licensing, such as pavement licensing, we're trying to include that more in terms of policy, because more and more we are looking at operators being responsible in looking at risk assessments for counter-terrorism, but also training in terms of ACTS training as well. In terms of age verification and underage, we've added elements of Think 25 rather than Think 21, and that comes from Codes of Practice government changes. And finally, we've added a section on appeals, because as we know, after the committee, there is a process afterwards as well, and i.e. 21 days going to magistrates' court, and we found out that there's a little gap in our current policy in terms of appeals there, so it's just flushing that out. In terms of the current policy, what I would say is that, and I would say this, that it works well. There has been, it's fair to say, limited instances where it has been put in practice. For example, I know this year only that we've had 2 licensing subcommittees, but on those 2 licensing subcommittees, one for an adult gaming centre and one for a gaming permit, legal, ourselves, even the trade, and also probably the chair, but we looked at our policy well, and it does what it does. I just think it's because we have fewer premises compared to alcohol licensing, and so as a result we get fewer applications. I mean, in alcohol applications we're looking at several a month. With gambling we're lucky to get that a year. So I think there's very few applications in terms of licensing. But then we have to take the process. We have to look at that and look at it carefully and think, okay, where are the gaps? How do we strengthen it? And I think with this review, we've done that. In terms of comments so far, you will see in the report that legal at this time don't have any objections or comments to make, but when needed and after the consultation, we can certainly seek their advice. In terms of corporate finance as well, you will note that they have made no objections, and I think that's mainly because the fees have remained unchanged since the Act was put in. We have had a couple of stakeholders come back, Gambling Aware and Lotteries Council, and again, no adverse comments. But as I say, we've got till the 25th of October when the consultation will finish, and it's our role to go back to Cabinet with those comments that come through and any ways that we look at adapting or changing the redraft. So, Chair, in conclusion, those are my comments in relation to the gambling policy and the consultation. I'm happy to take any questions, queries, or further debate about what I've said and what's in the papers. But thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Daniel, and thank you for the easy explanation. So it was good to actually grab hold of exactly what the changes are and how they're going to affect us as well. Good to hear we have got a good, strong structure too, actually, already. Councillor Gardner.
Thank you, Daniel, for the second time that I've read this. I have to say, because I've been on the licensing committee since God was a boy, the gambling policy as it is, together with the tweaks, does everything that it says in terms of safeguarding. So, congratulations for all the things that you've added.
Thank you, Councillor Gardner, and I think even with the last review that we've done, you added similar comments, which is greatly appreciated for us. I mean, those are the changes that we think are well, but we're very sort of open up to the consultation to take anything on board, and we genuinely do mean that.
Councillor Smallwood.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not going to expect this is a big number, but I am interested anyway. How many people have we had respond so far to the consultation?
2 from stakeholders. Yeah, and so I have put it out.
2 is more than 1, Daniel.
Yes, it is. And they're not negative in any way, but we shall see, because sometimes people have made that a deadline, particularly from our partners from other local authorities. So I am expecting a few more, and we'll sort of bring them to the attention of Cabinet when they come through.
Thank you.
Any further questions? No. Okay, it's really good to hear, and really good to hear about the policies as well. I think just to pick up on what Councillor Smallwood said, you know, it's all in our remit to share that. So I think it's about us sharing it too with our residents' associations, with our residents, and really getting it out there. So I think we can you know, obviously help with that. I've just got one question. I'm new on licensing, so obviously I don't know as much. But I just want to just ask, the council is obviously a leading authority, you know, under licensing. We have our duty to do prevention as well. And times change, don't they? So I presume the reason why we're seeing not so many gambling areas, because obviously it's online and on the phone, so people can do it more in secret, can't they? Which again is why we've got the Martin's Law. But for the council, is there anything that you think we could do better or we could improve on the prevention of online gambling for our residents in the borough?
I think because that remit lies solely with the Gambling Commission, where we sort of like, not reluctant, we kind of like leave it with them, because in gambling, the Gambling Commission are kind of overall the sort of main regulators. But we're trying to establish more closer links with gambling, but that's something that we can definitely speak to them about in terms of would they mind if we had, for example, information or signposting or guidance on our website that relates to online. Because when you do think of gambling, you do think more recently about online stuff. And my understanding with those changes, with those risks, are more closely with the digital and online rather than the physical premises.
I really appreciate that, Daniel, and I think it's really good and important. And I think because I loved what you picked up as well about the vulnerable people. You know, that is quite. They are vulnerable people, and it's very easy that they probably don't know what they're actually getting themselves into at the beginning. So thank you very much for taking that on board. Councillor Gardner.
Would it be possible to send all this to David Bruff? Because you know the problems that we have in Hayes, and he's really good at passing things on.
Yeah, he should have been included with the consultation, and so he would receive that email. If he hasn't received that, I can send that again, but he was part of the...
Send it again, because I just like annoying him. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been really, really informative. I also like to pick up about what you said about the residents and the representation of residents in here, and for them to have a clearer idea and understanding, because we should be encouraging the residents to come forward as well. So thank you. Really, any further questions? No? Okay. So now we go to the committee forward planner. Is that... Very quick, Councillor Gardner, thank you. Councillor Smallwood.
Thank you, Chair. I believe, although it was a long time ago, so you'd have to go back and check it on YouTube, but I believe at the last meeting I made a suggestion that we should try and get some industry professionals in to hear their stories and to maybe question then on the interface of the functions of this committee and the functions of this council that they face. I just wondered whether, I'm not sure where we build that in, Chair, but it was met warmly by the committee at the time. I don't know, I can't record if you were here, but I just wondered if we could look at doing that at a future meeting, and I can see people nodding.
Yes, Councillor Smallwood, you did mention it. I'm wondering whether we can sort that out.
Yeah, we can definitely look at it for the next one, and it was always on the sort of plans. It's just juggling it with other interesting speakers, if you like, but certainly we'll look at getting someone from the trade.
Thank you. And just to remind everyone as well, obviously we have a mock date in training with Gary Grant. Thank you so much for organising that for us as well. And that is on the 28th of November, 2024. So just to remind everyone. Is that agreed? Agreed. Yeah? Okay, thank you. So that now is the end of part one. Thank you so much for everyone for being here and going through, and we will just close the YouTube. So So now we're on